My name is Charlotte, 24 years old. The silence of the old bookstore was never truly silent. It was filled with the whispers of paper and dust. My only constant companion was Akka, a hairless sphinx with eyes the color of ancient amber, who belonged to the shop, not to me. He was a creature of specific hatreds, hissing at customers who lingered too long by the occult section in the back. The owner had simply said, "He knows which ones aren't serious," and I dismissed it as a quaint eccentricity. Then Miller arrived. His smile was warm, his questions intelligent. He was researching local history, he said, for a novel. My heart, a lonely and traitorous thing, fluttered every time he walked in. But Ucker would materialize, hissing, his wrinkled body a puffed-up spectacle of rage. Miller would just laugh it off, calling him my little protector. I started locking Akka in the office during Miller's visits, ignoring the frantic scratches at the door. One rainy Tuesday, I found Miller in the forbidden aisle. He wasn't browsing. He was intently studying a specific, crumbling leather-bound book lock in a glass case I'd never been able to open. His posture was different, hungry, focused. A chill traced my spine. That night, after he left, I found the case's key hidden under the desk, a key I never knew existed. Curiosity overpowered sense. I unlocked the case. The book was cold. Its pages were not paper, but something soft and fibrous. The script was alien, geometric. As I touched it, a low growl echoed through the empty shop. Acker was behind me, his eyes glowing with an unnatural, greenish light. He wasn't hissing. He was judging. Miller returned at closing time. His charming facade was gone, replaced by a sharp desperation. He demanded the book. I refused, clutching the cold volume to my chest. He advanced, his intentions now clear and terrifying. I backed into a shelf, trapped. Acker launched himself from the shadows, but not at me, at Miller. The movement was a blur, too fast for a cat. There was a sound like tearing canvas. Miller screamed, not in pain, but in fury, and a shockwave of force threw me against the wall. Dazed, I looked up. Acker was on the ground, but he was changing. His small form shimmered, expanding. His skin hardened into scaled plates. His stubby tail lengthened. Wings, leathery and vast, unfolded from his back with a sickening crunch. Where a hairless cat had been now stood a monstrous creature, a griffin in miniature, all gleaming beak and savage talons. It was the guardian of the book, my sweet. Strange Ucker was a myth made flesh. He had always been. Miller scrambled back. His face a mask of pure terror. The creature that was Ucker led at a screech that shattered the front window. It didn't attack. It just stood between Miller and the book, between Miller and me. A line in the sand. Miller fled into the stormy night, his research abandoned. The creature turned its eagle-like gaze on me. On the book I still held. It dipped its head, not in aggression, but in acknowledgement. Then the form shrank, folded back and on itself. In moments, Akka the Sphinx sat there, licking a paw as if nothing had happened. I slid the book back into its case, my hands shaking. The lock clicked shut. Akka patted over and rubbed against my legs, his purr soft rumble. The shop was quiet again, save for the rain and the whispers. I finally understood. I wasn't the caretaker of the shop. I was the new apprentice, and Ucker, my eternal, terrifying mentor, had just passed his final test. The silence after the storm was heavier than before. Glass crunched under my feet as I stood, my heart a frantic drum against my ribs. The book felt like a block of ice in my hands, its strange, soft cover seeming to pulse with a faint, dormant energy. I looked from the shattered window to the empty street where Miller had vanished, and then down at the creature at my feet. What had been Ucka finished his meticulous grooming. He blinked his ancient amber eyes up at me, and for the first time, I saw not a pet, but a profound and weary intelligence. There was no affection in that gaze, only a cool, assessing patience. He had been waiting, not for Miller, but for me, for this moment. He turned and paced, a slow, deliberate walk toward the back of the shop, his claws clicking on the hard wood floor. He stopped before a section of shelving I'd always assumed was a structural wall and looked back, waiting. I followed, drawn by a compulsion I didn't understand. As I approached, he nudged a specific, worn copy of Moby Dick. There was a soft click. A hidden door, perfectly seamless, swung inward. Beyond lay a narrow staircase descending into darkness, smelling of old earth, ozone, and something metallic. Ucka descended without a backward glance, his tail held high. I knew, with a certainty that chilled my blood, that my old life was upstairs, in the world of broken glass and rain. My new one was down there. I took a final breath of the storm fresh air and stepped over the threshold. The door sealed shut behind me, the lock engaging with a definitive, final sound. The dim light from a single bare bulb revealed a small, circular chamber. The walls were not wood and plaster, but living root and dark, veined crystal that hummed with a low vibration. In the center of the room stood a simple wooden pedestal. Ucka leaped onto it and sat, regal and utterly still, watching me. This was his true place, his altar. My role was not to own him or even to truly understand him. My role was to serve, not to learn, to protect the knowledge that slept in the book I still clutched, a knowledge too dangerous for men like Miller. The last piece of the puzzle slid into place with terrifying clarity. The previous owner hadn't retired. He had finished his service, and Ucka, the ageless guardian, had been interviewing replacements for a very, very long time. I had not been hired as a clerk. I had been selected as an acolyte. The bookstore wasn't a business. It was a prison, a temple, and a lock, and I was now its newest, permanent warden. The purr that rumbled from the griffin in his true form was the sound of a lock turning, sealing my fate forever.